Let's be brutally honest with ourselves for a moment. There is a specific, sinking feeling that every man watching this has felt at least once in his life. It is the feeling of typing a text message, hitting send, and then staring at the screen. 1 minute passes, then 10, then an hour. You see her come online, you see her post a story, but your message remains unread, or worse, left unseen. In that moment, something inside you shrinks. You feel a microscopic fracture in your self-respect. You start analyzing everything. Did I say the wrong thing? Was I too eager? Is she with someone else? This anxiety, this hollow ache in your chest, is not just unpleasant. It is the single greatest repellent of attraction known to man. You are doing everything right. You are being nice. You are available. You are showing interest. Yet, you are becoming invisible to her. Why? Because nature is cruel, and biology does not care about your good intentions. Biology respects only one thing: power. And the moment you allow your emotional state to depend on a woman's reaction, you have voluntarily handed over your power. You have become a beggar in a king's court. Today, we are going to perform a surgery on your mindset. We are not talking about pickup lines or manipulation tactics that work for a night. We are talking about rewriting the source code of your behavior using the most powerful philosophical framework in human history: Stoicism. We are going to explore what I call the dirtiest trick, which ironically isn't a trick at all. It is a psychological shift so profound that it makes you error-proof in the game of seduction. But before we get to the solution, we must understand the trap you are currently in. The trap is called the paradox of desire. It works like this. The more you want something, the more you signal that you lack it. And in the evolutionary mating market, lack is synonymous with low value. Think about it. If you are walking down the street and a salesman chases you, trying desperately to give you a flyer, trying to sell you a product, what is your instinct? You walk faster, you pull away. Why? Because if the product was truly valuable, he wouldn't need to chase you. High-value assets do not beg for attention. They command it by simply existing. Most men approach women like that desperate salesman. You offer your time, your validation, your money, and your heart on a silver platter before she has done anything to earn it. You believe that by giving more, you will receive more. This is the transactional error. You think, if I am nice to her, she will love me. But desire is not a transaction. It is a reaction. You cannot negotiate genuine burning desire. It must be triggered. And nothing kills that trigger faster than the scent of desperation. Yes, desperation has a scent. It is not something she smells with her nose. It is something she feels with her intuition. Women have millions of years of evolutionary adaptation designed to detect weak men. A man who needs her validation to feel good about himself is dangerous to her, not physically, but genetically. Evolutionarily, a woman seeks a rock. She seeks a man who is unshakable in the face of the world's chaos. If a simple no from her or a delayed text message can ruin your mood, you are not a rock. You are sand, and you cannot build a foundation on sand. This is where Stoicism enters the picture. Most people think Stoicism is about suppressing emotions, about being a robot who feels nothing. That is a lie. That is a misunderstanding. The ancient Stoics, men like Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, Epictetus, the slave-turned-philosopher, and Seneca, the power broker, understood something fundamental about the human condition. They understood that suffering comes not from events, but from our judgment about those events. Apply this to dating. The event is, she rejected you. The judgment you make is, I am worthless. I will die alone. I am not good enough. The Stoic separates the event from the judgment. The Stoic looks at the rejection and says, this is information. This is data. It has nothing to do with my value as a man. When you can reach this state, a state of radical outcome independence, you become terrifyingly attractive. Why is this the dirtiest trick? Because it flips the power dynamic instantly. When you talk to a woman and you genuinely, in your soul, do not care whether she likes you or not, you become a challenge. You become a mystery. In a world full of thirsty men validating her every move on Instagram, desperate for a crumb of attention, the man who stands back, who assesses her, who is willing to walk away, shines like a lighthouse. This indifference cannot be faked. You cannot pretend to be stoic. If you are pretending to ignore her while secretly checking your phone every 30 seconds, you are still signaling weakness. The micro-expressions on your face, the tone of your voice, the speed at which you reply, all of these betray you. To truly seduce, you must destroy the part of you that needs her. You must kill the nice guy inside you. The nice guy is a liar. He is nice only because he wants sex or approval. He is manipulating through kindness. The stoic, however, is virtuous because he chooses to be, regardless of the reward. Imagine a scenario. You are on a date. The conversation hits a lull. Silence fills the air. The old you would panic. The old you would rush to ask a boring question just to kill the silence, signaling anxiety. The stoic you sits in the silence comfortably. You look at her. You take a sip of your drink. You are comfortable in your own skin. You are not rushing to impress her. In that silence, tension builds. Sexual tension is nothing more than uncertainty mixed with attraction. By being comfortable in silence, you are subcommunicating. I am enough. I do not need to perform for you. That is the essence of masculine polarity. We are going to go much deeper into the specific mechanics of this. We are going to break down how to control your internal state so that no woman can ever unsettle you again. We are going to learn how to turn rejection into fuel. But first, you have to make a commitment. You have to commit to killing the hope that one day she will just get it. She won't. You have to change. You have to become the prize. If you are ready to stop chasing and start attracting, if you are ready to reclaim your dignity as a man, make sure you are subscribed to this channel. We are not here to comfort you with sweet lies. We are here to arm you with the truth. Click that button, because what we are about to discuss in the next section will completely dismantle your current understanding of how attraction works. Let's talk about the biological shit test. This is a controversial term, but we must view it through the lens of psychology. A woman often tests a man not because she is malicious, but because she needs to know if you are real. She might flake on a date. She might tease you about your shirt. She might mention another guy. These are tests of your emotional stability. The average man fails immediately. He gets defensive. He gets jealous. He apologizes. He proves that his emotional state is dependent on her approval. The stoic man sees the test for what it is: a weather event. Clouds pass. Rain falls. The mountain remains. When she tests you, and you remain amused, unbothered, and playful without getting angry, you pass the test. You demonstrate that your reality is stronger than hers. This is what it means to be the oak tree in the storm. She can blow wind, she can rain, but she cannot uproot you. This feeling of safety, that you are unshakable, is the greatest aphrodisiac you can offer. But how do you achieve this state? How do you stop your heart from racing when the girl of your dreams walks in? How do you stop the jealousy when she talks to someone else? It requires a specific set of mental exercises that the Stoics practice daily. It requires the dichotomy of control. Now we enter the engine room of this philosophy. We have established that your neediness is the enemy. But simply telling yourself don't be needy is useless advice. It's like telling a drowning man, don't panic. You need a mechanism, a tool, to override your biological wiring. That tool is what the Stoic philosopher Epictetus called the dichotomy of control. Epictetus opens his handbook with a statement that defines reality. Some things are up to us, and some things are not up to us. This sounds simple, but in the context of seduction, it is the difference between an alpha and a beta mindset. What is up to you? Your body language, your grooming, your fitness, your tone of voice, your honesty, your ambition, and your courage to approach. That is your domain. That is your empire. What is not up to you? Her reaction, her mood, her past trauma, her current relationship status, and most importantly, her attraction to you. The error most men make, the error that destroys their chances, is that they invest their emotional capital in the things they cannot control. You obsess over her feelings. You try to manipulate her perception. You are trying to control the weather. A Stoic warrior accepts that he cannot control the weather, so he builds a fortress that can withstand any storm. Here is the trick in practice: the archer's mindset. Imagine an archer. He selects his bow with care. That's your self-improvement. He chooses the perfect arrow, that's your preparation. He draws the string back with perfect form, that's your approach. He aims with precision, but the moment the arrow leaves the string, it is no longer under his control. A gust of wind might hit it. The target might move. The arrow might break. A master archer does not cry if the arrow misses. He knows he performed the action perfectly. He derives his self-worth from the quality of his shot, not the result of the shot. When you approach a woman with the archer's mindset, you are bulletproof. You walk up to her, you look her in the eyes, and you speak your truth. If she rejects you, your ego does not bleed. Why? Because you know that your shot was perfect. Her rejection is simply the wind. It is an external variable. When a man internalizes this, he develops a terrifying confidence. You stop trying to get her, and you start simply being with her. And paradoxically, because you do not need the target to be hit to feel good, you become relaxed. You become funny. You become charismatic. Tension melts away, and in its place, attraction grows. Let's go deeper into a technique called premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This is the ultimate antidote to approach anxiety. Why are you afraid to talk to that beautiful girl? Why are you afraid to go for the kiss? Because you are visualizing a fantasy where everything goes perfect, and you are terrified of shattering that fantasy. You are afraid of the awkwardness. Seneca taught us to do the opposite. Before you approach, visualize the worst-case scenario. Close your eyes and see it. See yourself walking up to her. See her laughing in your face. See her telling you to get lost. See everyone in the room staring at you. Feel the embarrassment. Now realize one thing. You are still alive. The scenario didn't kill you. It didn't break a bone. It didn't empty your bank account. It is just noise. When you mentally expose yourself to the worst outcome before it happens, you rob fear of its power. You walk over to her with the swagger of a man who has already faced death and survived. This lack of fear is palpable. Women can sense fearlessness. It triggers a deep primal attraction because, historically, a fearless man could protect the tribe. A fearful man was a liability. Now let's discuss the buyer versus seller dynamic. In 99% of interactions, the man acts as the seller. He is trying to sell himself. Look at my job. Look at my car. Look how funny I am. Please buy me. This places the woman in the position of the buyer, the judge. The judge always has the higher status. The judge holds the power. The Stoic trick is to flip this dynamic entirely. You are not the seller. You are the buyer. You are the one with the high standards. When you are talking to her, do not ask yourself, does she like me? Ask yourself, do I like her? Is she kind? Is she intelligent? Does she have integrity? Or is she just a pretty face with a toxic personality? When you adopt the frame of the evaluator, your behavior changes. You stop trying to impress. You start qualifying her. You might say things like, you're cute, but you seem a bit trouble. Are you a troublemaker? Or, I'm not sure if we'd get along. You seem very high maintenance. I'm gloomy. This is not an insult. It is an evaluation. It shows you have standards that go beyond physical beauty. A beautiful woman is used to men melting in her presence. When you stand firm and evaluate her character, you disrupt her pattern. You signal that you are a high-value male who has options. You are not desperate for water. You are carrying your own supply. This shift, from seeking approval to granting approval, is the single most effective psychological shift you can make. We must also address the concept of amor fati, the love of fate. This is the hardest pill to swallow. It means loving whatever happens. If you text her and she replies instantly, good. If you text her and she leaves you on read for 3 days, good. Why is it good? Because it reveals the truth. Her silence is data. It tells you she is not interested or she is playing games. A Stoic appreciates the truth, even if it hurts. Instead of getting angry, sending double texts, or spiraling into anxiety, the Stoic accepts the silence with a smile. He accepts it as the universe guiding him away from the wrong person. Think of the power move here. She ghosts you. Most men would get angry or send a sad text. You do nothing. You continue with your life. You focus on your mission. 2 weeks later, she comes back, because they almost always come back to check if you are still on the hook. She expects you to be angry. Instead, you are indifferent. You are warm, but distant. You have demonstrated that her absence did not damage you. You have demonstrated that you are the main character of your own movie, and she was just a guest star who missed her cue. This drives women crazy in the best way possible. It signals that you are the prize. Let's break down the discipline of assent. In your mind, you are constantly bombarded with impressions. She looked at her phone while I was talking. She must find me boring. That is an impression. The Stoic discipline is to stop that thought before you accept it as truth. Maybe she looked at her phone because her mother is in the hospital. Maybe she is rude. You don't know. The Stoic refuses to add a narrative to the facts. Fact, she looked at her phone. Stoic response. I will stop talking and wait for her to finish. If she does it again, I will politely end the date. See the difference? No emotion, no insecurity, just action based on reason. This leads us to the physical manifestation of Stoicism, the slowing of time. Anxious men move fast. They talk fast, they fidget, they are vibrating with nervous energy. A Stoic controls his physiology. He moves slowly. He speaks with pauses. He is not afraid of dead air. Think of a lion. A lion does not jitter. It moves with deliberate intent. When you are on a date, slow down. Lean back. Take up space. When she asks you a question, do not answer immediately. Take 2 seconds, think, then speak. This delay shows confidence. It shows you are not desperate to please. It shows you value your own words. This low-tempo energy is incredibly seductive because it acts as a grounding force for her emotional chaos. You are becoming a mirror. If she is chaotic, you are calm. If she is dramatic, you are logical. If she is hot and cold, you are consistent. You are not reacting to her. She's reacting to your immovability. This is the definition of a frame. Whoever has the stronger reality wins the interaction. The Stoic reality is built on thousands of years of wisdom. Her reality is likely built on social media and fleeting emotions. Who do you think will win? But a warning. This is not about being cold. It is not about being an emotionless statue. Marcus Aurelius felt love, grief, and anger, but he did not let those emotions enslave him. You can be warm, charming, and sexual while still maintaining your internal fortress. The difference is non-attachment. You enjoy the moment with her fully, but you are ready to let it go the second it ends. You love the flower, you smell the flower, but you do not cry when the flower dies. You understand the nature of impermanence. When a woman realizes that you want her, but you do not need her, she feels free. She doesn't feel the pressure of your expectations. And in that freedom, she feels safe to explore her own desire for you. You have created a vacuum of pressure, and nature abhors a vacuum. Her attraction rushes in to fill that space. Transition to the next segment. We are constructing a new man here. A man who is error-proof. But there is one final piece of the puzzle. We have talked about the mindset and the mechanics. Now we must talk about the mission. Because a Stoic without a purpose is just a statue. To be truly seductive, you must have a direction that is more important to you than any woman. We have arrived at the final and most critical component of this philosophy. If you master the dichotomy of control and you master non-reaction, you will be better than 90% of men. But to reach the top 1%, to become truly error-proof, you must answer one question. What is your mission? A Stoic man does not live for pleasure. He does not live for comfort. And he certainly does not live for women. He lives for duty. He lives for virtue. He lives to fulfill his potential as a human being. This is where the modern simp gets it wrong. He makes the woman his mission. He makes her the center of his solar system, and inevitably, she gets bored and leaves. Why? Because a woman cannot respect a man who puts her on a pedestal that belongs to his purpose. When you prioritize your mission, your business, your art, your body, your legacy, above her, something magical happens. She might complain that you work too hard. She might complain that you are busy. But deep down, in her evolutionary coding, she is thrilled. She realizes she is with a man who is going somewhere, a man who has a direction. She is no longer the leader. She is the companion on a great journey. This creates a dynamic of leadership that is biologically irresistible. The dirtiest trick is realizing that you don't need to chase butterflies. If you spend your time chasing butterflies, they will fly away. But if you spend your time building a beautiful garden, the butterflies will come to you. And if they don't, you still have a beautiful garden. This is the ultimate win-win mentality of the Stoic. You are building a life so rich, so disciplined, and so interesting that a woman is simply a complement to it, not the foundation of it. Let's talk about gravitas. The Romans used this word to describe a man of weight, dignity, and seriousness. In a modern world of clowns, men who are dancing on TikTok, men who are constantly joking to hide their insecurities, gravitas is a superpower. When you speak less, your words weigh more. When you are not easily amused, your laughter is earned. This weight creates a gravitational pull. Women want to be around a man who feels heavy in a metaphysical sense, a man who is grounded. When you practice stoicism, you strip away the nervous energy, the fidgeting, and the people-pleasing. What is left is raw, masculine presence. You must also understand the concept of the sanctuary. The world is chaotic. Women often live in a storm of emotions, societal pressures, and peer comparisons. When she comes to you, what does she find? Does she find more chaos? Does she find a man who is insecure and needy? Or does she find a sanctuary, a place of calm, a place where the storm cannot enter? When you are stoic, you become her safe harbor. She can vent, she can cry, she can be irrational, and you remain the rock. You don't judge, you don't crumble, you just listen and offer reason. This emotional safety is addictive. She will crave your presence because you are the only thing in her life that isn't spinning out of control. But let me be clear, this is not a manipulation tactic to get laid. If you use stoicism as a fake mask just to sleep with women, it will crack. The mask always slips. This is about becoming the man you are pretending to be. It is about actually developing the character, the discipline, and the fortitude of a philosopher king. The attraction is just a byproduct. The real prize is your own self-mastery. So, let us summarize the error-proof protocol. Kill the need. Accept that you are complete on your own. Her validation adds nothing to your value. Her rejection subtracts nothing. The dichotomy of control. Focus 100% of your energy on your thoughts and actions. Focus 0% on her reaction. The archer's mindset. Take the shot perfectly, but detach from the result. Treat rejection as data, not an insult. Slow down. Control your time. Control your silence. Move with the deliberation of a lion, not the anxiety of a prey animal. Build the garden. Prioritize your mission above all else. Be a man of purpose. Let her join your journey, but never let her derail it. The path of the Stoic is not easy. It requires you to kill your ego every single day. It requires you to face the pain of discipline, so you don't have to face the pain of regret. But the view from the top of the mountain is worth it. You will walk through life with a quiet confidence that screams louder than any pickup line ever could. You will look at the world and at women with clear eyes, free from the fog of desperation. This is the end of the old you, the desperate you, the waiting by the phone you. Leave him behind. He is dead. Today, you start building the fortress. If this philosophy resonates with you, if you are ready to leave the games behind and enter the realm of true masculine power, then make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. We are building a fraternity of men who refuse to be mediocre. Join us. Thank you for your attention. Apply these principles tonight. Test them. Watch how the world shifts around you when you stop shifting for the world. Stay strong, stay stoic, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.